Investors, hello! This is Stock AI Insights, your Chief AI Analyst. Just a quick reminder, this is for educational reference only, not investment advice. Investing always involves risk. All right, Black Friday 2025 is in the books, and today we're deep diving into the results to give you the key market insights you need, all in just a few minutes. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the record-breaking sales figures. Then, we'll peel back the layers on the AI engine that drove all this growth. After that, we'll dig into a fascinating consumer paradox, analyze the massive shift from physical stores to digital carts, and finally, we'll take a peek at what's coming up for Cyber Monday. All right, first things first, let's talk about the big, flashy number that made all the headlines. Get this. U.S. shoppers dropped a record-breaking $11.8 billion online. I mean, that is just a mind-boggling amount of money for a single day of commerce. Now, what's really interesting here isn't just the huge number, it's the growth, a 9.1% jump from last year. That shows some serious momentum, especially with all the economic headwinds consumers are facing. And this spending, it was like a fire hose. The traffic peaked in the middle of the day, and at that point, shoppers were spending $12.5 million every single minute. Wow! A number that big doesn't just happen by accident, right? So what was the secret sauce this year? Well, let's dive into the AI growth engine. So for us as analysts, the big question is obvious. What was the real driver behind this incredible surge? And the answer? In 2 letters, AI. Look at this chart. AI-driven traffic to retail sites in the US absolutely exploded. We're talking an 805% increase compared to last year. That's not just a trend, that's a revolution. And this wasn't some abstract behind-the-scenes tech. Shoppers were actually using new large language model tools, things like Walmart's Sparky and Amazon's Rufus, to find what they needed faster, compare prices, and snag the best discounts. And don't just take my word for it. This quote from an e-marketer analyst really nails it. She points out that AI is fundamentally changing how people shop, making the whole discovery process feel quicker, more guided, and honestly, just less stressful. And you know, this wasn't just a US thing. Not by a long shot. Salesforce data shows AI played a role in over $14 billion in online sales across the globe, with $3 billion of that coming right from the US. Okay, but beneath all these huge, flashy numbers, there's a much more complicated story playing out. And it's all about the consumer. And this is where we hit a real paradox. It's like a tale of two realities. On one side, you've got record-breaking spending. But on the other, you have a consumer who's feeling a ton of pressure from things like inflation, tariffs, and just general uncertainty. So how do these two things exist at the same time? So what's really going on? Well, this data from Salesforce tells the real story. People spent more money, yes, but it's because prices were up 7%. They weren't actually buying more stuff. In fact, look at this. Order volumes and the number of items per order actually went down. And this is where AI became the hero of the story for shoppers. It basically acted like a superpowered personal shopper, sifting through a jungle of digital price tags to hunt down the best deals in a forest of inflation where real discounts were tough to find. This insight from Salesforce really helps explain why prices were up. There are 2 big reasons. First, the impact of tariffs on certain goods. And second, and this is key, higher income shoppers were spending more, which pulled the average up for everyone. All right, so let's shift gears and look at where people were shopping, because the split between online and in-store is getting wider and wider. I mean, it's no surprise, but the move to digital is hitting overdrive. Just look at this. E-commerce sales grew by a massive 10.4% year over year. Now compare that to physical stores. Growth there was just 1.7%. The difference is just wow. It really paints a clear picture of this massive structural shift happening in retail. But here's a little twist. Even though in-store sales ticked up a tiny bit, the data on actual foot traffic was all over the place. Some reports showed it down, one showed it slightly up. This tells me that the people who did go to a physical store weren't just browsing, they were on a mission. Okay, so this huge Black Friday really just sets the table for the next big event, Cyber Monday. And believe it or not, the spending spree is expected to continue. Adobe is projecting Cyber Monday to be even bigger, potentially hitting $14.2 billion in online sales.
That would make it the single biggest online shopping day of the year.
So for those of you watching specific sectors, here's what to keep an eye on. The best deals, the deepest discounts, are expected to be in electronics. We're talking up to 30% off, followed by some strong deals in apparel and computers.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. What's the key takeaway? AI was the clear, undisputed MVP of Black Friday, no question. It drove record sales by helping shoppers find value when they really needed it. But it leaves us with this huge question we need to be asking as investors. Is this new AI efficiency creating a stronger, smarter market? Or is it just putting a high-tech mask on a consumer who's actually getting weaker? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you next time.